Hi, Godless voice here. This weekend, I've had what could only be described as a mental breakdown. Got off of work Saturday morning at 4 a.m. While I was at work, I was told that our back pay had came in. Now, my raise was about $250, so my back pay was expected to reflect that. When I got out into the car and checked my account, I had less than a quarter of what I was expecting. There wasn't anything I could pay off with that. Wasn't anything I could do with that. So, got off of work, went home, hopped in the shower, and with Victoria Rose, I hopped in the car and drove to El Paso. I expected to run into some friends there. All I knew is I needed to get out of town. I needed to get away from everything. I needed to disconnect. After a 9-hour trip to El Paso, by the time I got there, the first person I had met was Nicoletta. Actually, technically, this would be the only person I met, because Angel Ripper was not available. He was on the road. But by the time I had met Nicoletta, I was road ragged. I had been up for more than 24 hours, had been to work, which is hard labor, then drove 9 hours, all without sleep. And what's messed up is I couldn't sleep. Sleep was avoiding me. I even started to drink by that evening, and I still couldn't get to sleep. So, not really sure what to make of that. Hanging out in El Paso was fun, for what it was worth. Got to see a few things, but otherwise it was mostly lonely. Victoria had somebody she was supposed to be visiting while I visited Nicoletta. Of course, her visit went well, mine did not. Though I didn't expect to have... I didn't expect certain qualities to be engaged until I realized what I had just done. And even still, I didn't want to impose that expectation of having some amusement with somebody after driving a long distance. But this is also somebody who has been screwed over and burned by a lot of people too, so I wasn't about to force that expectation onto her. And I didn't. I'm proud of myself, I did not do that. I genuinely wanted to help her too, because she was supposed to be leaving that morning, or the next morning, 7 a.m. I genuinely wanted to help her out, but after I finally did have some sleep and reflected on it, I realized just how suspicious that looked, me showing up from Dallas to El Paso. And the first place I want to go after getting a bite to eat is the liquor store. And I guess she didn't know me well enough to know that I drink like a fish. So, that was my little mental breakdown. Question is, where do I go from here? What do I do now? Well, what I did do, while I'm waiting to hear back on what the situation is with my check, my back pay, and I'm waiting on my GoFundMe account to filter through so I can hand it over to the owner of the BMW. So it's got to post in my bank account first, then I've got to go send it through PayPal. So I'm getting charged coming and going with this. So where do I go from here? Well, what I did is I announced that I'm returning to tattooing. I'm going to be a tattoo artist again. I'm not pleased with it, but it's something I know how to do, and I know how to do well. So, when life gives you lemons, you punch it in the dick until it fucking stops. But I'm curious, what do you think? Have you had a meltdown before? Mental breakdown? Nervous breakdown? Just a general breakdown at all? And how do you deal with it? How do you get past it? How do you get over it? Leave it in the comments below. This is Godless Voice signing off. And remember, don't think you're right. Just think.